Okay, we getting ready to get started. Welcome to Verbal Prick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Like to welcome you all to the show. Today I got a special guest on the show. I know many of you saw the documentary we did, the video of Dr.Kang, world renowned. He's working with a lot of athletes. He's been throughout the nation. I've seen him from Fort Worth to Atlanta, helping and healing people, and truly has a love for humanity. Like to welcome you all to the show. Welcome to the show, Dr. Kang. How you doing?
Man, I am so blessed. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yes, sir. I know, but see, we need that energy you have, man, to rub off through the rest of us, brother, to keep that high frequency going.
Yes, sir. They say when you're living your dharma, your calling, or whatever, life becomes, my grandfather called it, the earth becomes the playground.
Right.
And so it's very important, that everyone or whatever, find out what they were born to do, because now you're not feeling bored, you're not feeling like you're forced to do something. Everything you're doing it from a place of 100% love.
See, but that's why it's so important to have you share that knowledge with us. As you may well have known, that many of what they consider black people in America, we lost that connection with Dharma and with that ancient and that sacred knowledge. But you're willing to share that because the earth truly is your playground, but you have to reconnect back into that knowledge of self and back into that knowledge of the ancestors that was taught for eons, and you help bring that link back to understand that. So we'll get into your herbs, but how do you position your mind in order to take on a new attitude and a new being? How do you shake off that old negative frequency and get ready to receive the positive frequency?
Well, my grandfather, one thing I learned from him is that he told me that everything was a choice. But in one of the lectures that my grandfather gives, he called it the playground of the gods. That earth was the playground of the gods. And grandfather explains that human beings were all like angels. They're all like angels, they're all like kings and queens. They all lived in this amazing, plain beautiful. But one thing about there was that it was just so beautiful, whatever. They couldn't do a lot of things. And so they all were complaining. Despite they were like all royalty, it was kind of like boring because you have to be a king all the time, you have to be a chief all the time. And so because they were complaining, God said, okay, I'm going to create another planet called Earth. And he created Earth. And you know what? They said 95% of all the human beings, they said, oh, I want to go down to that planet or whatever, because he created it with all this free will. There was free will on Earth or whatever. You can do whatever you want to do. And so a lot of people decided to go there because you can become anything. But on these other planets that human beings originated from or whatever, they were all like just kings. That's all they did was just, sit there and the angels would serve them and, they were served. But a lot of them, after sitting there for so long, became very bored. They wanted something exciting. And so they'd be like, oh, we're going to go to planet Earth or whatever. And so my grandfather called it, Earth being the playground of the gods that were all like God, that we chose to come here. And because of that or whatever, we had the free will. And that if you're feeling frustrated, you made the conscious decision to come to planet Earth. And because of that or whatever, it says everyone has to take back their mind or whatever, to not let things that they think they don't have control, that deeply within us we have control. And because planet Earth has its rules and laws, its cosmic rules and regulations or whatever, we have to understand these laws. They say a wise man says, I'm going to go along with gravity. I'm not going to go upstream. I'm going to go downstream or whatever. So when you see people frustrated, it's because they're literally going upstream instead of just letting the current take them. Because there's a law in the universe called the law of least effort. I do less, I accomplish more. I do everything. I do nothing and I accomplish everything. And this law, you can see it in the plants, in the trees. Trees don't strain to grow, they just grow. Fishes do not strain to swim, they just swim. The wind does not strain to blow, it just blows. Everything in the universe, even the animals, if you see your dog, it's not stressing, only human beings. And the reason why they stress is because they're not tuned in, tapped in, and turned on with this cosmic law. And so they're still in the resistance, like going upstream or whatever, trying to swim against the current. And so that's where the stress and the frustration. And so Grandpa, they just let go, surrender.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. When the first humans left that first planet, when 95% came to planet Earth, did anybody bring that knowledge with them from that first planet to Earth, or was that knowledge already embedded within us and we just have to figure out how to turn it on? Or is there a teaching?
Yes. As you know, the cosmic order of things or whatever, the divine always led us, to bring whatever knowledge. Everything is embedded within our DNA. Sometimes we just need to activate it.
Right.
And this is, the mercy of God or whatever, the way he does his things. So whatever is that he will always make sure that we still have that knowledge so we do not forget where we come from. The average person might be like, I've forgotten where I came from or whatever. But deeply, sometimes all you just have to do is look at nature. If you see the animal or whatever, they're not coming from a place of shortage. If you see the ocean is not like, lacking water. If you see the trees are not lacking leaves. Everything is producing so much abundance. And so Grandfather says, when you allow nature to become your teacher, then now you are able to tap in from that which you have within your own self to be able to activate and see that nature has no lack, that everything in nature is abundance. You could not count the leaves on a tree. You could not count the grass, and all these things, even the sand on the seashore, you cannot count those things. And so this is nature at its best, teaching us who we are, because it's just a reflection. I'm not in the world is in me. I'm neither this flesh nor bone. I'm spiritual. And from a spiritual standpoint or whatever, it simply means I'm timeless.
So now then that means that you have a Dr. Kang who's a shaman, to where we got off the wrong diet and we started eating foods that was actually harming us. So now you come with the herbs as a way to unlock or to remove the poisons that was in the body, so we can be attuned with the original or universal cosmic law. Is that right?
Well, yes, that's right. They say once the people fall astray, right within them, God will raise a man, a woman, who will come to remind them. And this is always the mercy of God. It seems like if me and you, we lived in a building and we both have blood pressure, diabetes, what God will allow to grow around our home will be blood pressure medicine. This is the mercy of God. He's always putting the solution not too far away from us, right by eyesight, so me and you, we can see.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's truth. But see, that's true spirituality. That's true religion, because we've been bombarded with so much foolishness to where the concept of even believing that the universal God will provide for you what you need. Some people have a hard time just believing that concept, but it's actually true, because the water was here before you was born. Food was here before you was born. Vegetation, land, we didn't create none of it. So why do we have a hard time believing that the universal God will provide for us or care enough about us? Is it that we don't care enough about ourselves to believe that a universal God can care for us?
Well, there's a disconnect. There's been a disconnection between humans or whatever. We're not eating once one. They say when the body's clean, the mind begins to think. And all we have to do is look at animals. When you look at the animals, the birds, they do not plant nor sow, but their Heavenly Father provides for them. Every single You never seen a raccoon taking a basket going to the supermarket.
Right.
You never see a crocodile going to the supermarket, to go and buy food. They're being provided for. Even when you see animals eat in nature, they eat what they need and then they go. They're not hauling, taking some of this food home or whatever. And so this is just a reflection. Everything we need, just like you said or whatever, is being here before we got here. And so this is the mercy of God or whatever. Everything we need is here already. But it's that man or whatever, due to, wanting to change laws and rules and create his own law, when God said, just go, just trust me. Man say, oh, no. So if God can provide for all the birds and animals, aren't me and you children of the Most High? These are the questions we must answer. I mean you greater and higher than these animals. Is that even like food? People don't know that 95% of most herbs and vegetations on the face of the planet can be edible. Or whatever, until, they start bringing all these genetically modified trees and all these things. A lot of the plants in nature can be edible. It's like, what is food for us? You see, the cow is eating grass or whatever. The cow eats grass or whatever. Its food is abundant. Every animal, its food is abundant. Is that we've been genetically engineered to eat a certain way or whatever. For us, everything that is edible has to come from a supermarket. This is how we believe, but not knowing that it's all right there. A lot of the things the animals eat or whatever, we can literally survive off it.
And you're right. We've been tricked when it comes down to food, because it's like it shows that a person would have wealth. Look, I can eat this $40 steak, and this person can't. So I'm more superior to they use food as a superiority complex.
Yes, class.
As a class issue. And you right, when that's something that narrative has been created within our mindset, which allows us to think that way. But it all comes down to basic proteins and nutrition. Like, yeah, I'm not a person that's eating a $50 steak is no better than a person that's eating some broccoli.
Look, if you look at ancient times or whatever, people who had blood pressure, diabetes were kings and queens and presidents of countries. Because guess what? The people that ate so little, but guess what? They had the best of health.
That's right.
The kings and queens or whatever always had big bellies. They ate and ate and ate. Or whatever, they ate the meat, the cows, the chickens, they ate the cheese or whatever. You can see how they look. And very few of them ever live longer. But their servants always live longer or whatever, because they ate very little amount of food. And the kings ate most of all the food. And now it has almost become the other way around.
Right.
The people who control the world, they know that food is not treasure. What is food? To nourish the body.
Right.
So you can't take dead things and put in your body and expect to be alive. So now they've turned the table where the poor people, because they've been deprived for so long, now they're like, oh my God, I want to eat all the things the kings and queens used to eat. And now they're eating it and they're having all the diseases that the kings and queens used to have.
That's well put. That's amazing. And thank you for that insight. Now, I noticed a lot of athletes, and I saw that you were working with Chris Bosh, former NBA star, because I'm noticing that as time changing, people are going to herbalists or doctors such as yourself, because they starting to believe and they see the inner workings of how herbs work and how beneficial they are. And I'm also seeing the rise of the CBD.
Yes.
So now, do they seek you out? Like say such like the NBA stars, and I saw you on with pictures with Erykah Badu, and I mean you are a mover and shaker within the world of herbalists. You're everywhere and throughout the city. How do they contact you, or how do they seek you out?
Well, I mean, my work speaks for itself. I'm just one to speak. I don't really like to talk about my work, but anyone who's seen my work, it's like, whoa, And I always tell people not to roar. I said, when you take a baby cat, a baby rat, a baby snake, a baby tiger, in its baby form, right within their DNA is the knowing on how to heal themselves. When your cat is sick, a baby cat is not taking the permission of its mother. Like, hey, mom, I'm sick, I need help. These animals, even in their baby form, they know how to heal themselves. So the million-dollar question is, what happened to the human? The one thing we spend our whole life with is human body. We clothe it, we feed it, we brush our teeth, we comb our hair. We know nothing about it. But we've been given all these other things. We know about everything. We've been to space. We've invented the automobile. We've invented the airplane. All this high technology. But we've forgotten the common denominator, the human body. The one thing that has no spare part or whatever, we know nothing about it. But even the least animal in nature knows how to take care of itself. And so because I have come or whatever to bring people back to that basic, that is not rocket science. That when the body is sick, food, water, they're the only external thing we put internal. So whatever is wrong is what we put inside. And all you just have to do is clean up. When you look at nature, the way animals heal, they heal themselves through a process called purging. When the sky becomes dull, God allows it to rain. This is how nature heals. When animals are sick in nature, they do not eat or whatever. When your dog is sick or whatever, it goes and eats grass. It's not a grass eater. When the lion is sick, it goes and eats grass. It eats grass and then it throws up. But you know what the beautiful thing about it is? Is that the lion or the dog, it doesn't even have to travel a mile away. Its medicine is always around it. It's so close that every single one of us, we've seen a dog eat grass and throw up. Right. Every one of us has seen a cat eat grass or whatever, because God or whatever always put the medicine right close to us. All you just have to do is go outside your door. What do you see the most? You see vegetation, green. This is the nectar of the God. This is what man should be eating. There's one thing, it's been taught to us. There's food for rats, food for snakes, food for monkeys, but no one has ever answered the question. No one has ever answered the question, what is the food for humans? Human beings, the reason why we're sick is because we never asked the question, what is the food for humans? Everyone is just going around just eating everything, not knowing that the divine allocated a specific food for every single creature. But human beings or whatever, they've refused to eat that which they were designed to eat. They're eating everything, and so they're afflicted by diseases, by force. So everyone that's sick, they're responsible for their own sickness.
Wow, yeah. That statement triggers something in my subconscious mind, because you actually right. It's like a dream state almost. It's like, I know what you're saying is true. My inner self is telling me that we once possessed this knowledge, but it's like we're it's like you bringing us up out of another Renaissance, a dark age. We're coming up out of the dark ages, and we need that light to pull us up out the dark ages so we can regain what we once knew. It does seem like in ancient times or in ancient times that we knew these sciences and vegetations, it just got lost. Now, I want to ask you the importance, before we get out of here, the importance of alchemy, because it very interested me when you talk about vibration and sound. I mean, vibration and sound goes back to the beginning of time. Vibration and sound was used to build. With you bringing that back into the forefront, that ancient knowledge, people that's listening, you have to understand that is power. Can you explain the power of the vibration and the sound, infusing the herbs, and you don't have to explain the process that you do, but just the importance of that vibration and sound?
Well, growing up, I always like to reference my ancestor, which is my grandfather. My grandfather never ate anything that was cooked a day in his life. To some of the mango tree and eat the mango direct. To some of the avocado tree and eat it direct. And, a question was asked. If you harvested the mango, you brought it home, you gave it to him, he didn't want it. So the question was asked, Mr. Simon, why do you eat like this? He said, well, when you eat like this, you catch the first and the second light, which is all sound, which is all vibration. He said you catch the first and second light. He said birds have been able to be able to tap into this knowledge and neutralize it, to use it to tap into 0% gravity, and that is why birds can fly. These are the words, my grandfather was saying, or whatever, and, there'll be all these mystics and alchemies and magicians, they'll come from all over the world, but Grandpa, or whatever, because he ate like this, that's why he was the last man in Africa who could fly.
Yeah, I read that.
And people used to wonder. He said, well, the reason why birds fly is because they're able to, transform. They're able to mutate that vibration that they're getting from the plant or whatever to use it for flight. And he said, even when you go back beyond, you hear that people used to meet in the sky. They used to have meetings. When you read the Bible, you're going to hear about the chariots of fire, Elisha and Elijah. When you read the Quran, you read the Gita, you read the Vedas, you read some of the ancient books, you hear, or whatever. And the whole form of alchemy is for people to transform themselves from lower self to higher self. From caterpillar one become a butterfly. You can see that this alchemical process is happening in nature, with or without you, or whatever. Everything is up. So, due to religion, it has debunked and made a lot of people fear that which is true power. And you're going to hear a lot of people be like, oh, this is witchcraft, this is that.
No, it's science. Look, are you...
Or whatever, because these things do exist. Vibration, sound, light. This is how the universe was created. Without those things or whatever, there'll be none of this created or whatever. And everything will put off those frequencies. They're just at the basic, at the common denominator of any oppression, if you wanted to do anything. The magician or whatever, sometimes is trying to perform, but no one is hearing the sound in the background. No one is looking at the light, the way it's set up. But all those things or whatever play a big part or whatever to be able to defy this reality. What we might think is reality.
Oh man, that's wonderful. We have to in the near future find a way to set up a class for you can teach this, bro. We gotta put something together. The people need. I mean, but it's like you say, the universe will put it together. But that's very important. For those who want to research you and check out your work. Would you like giving out your social media pages or?
Well, yeah. People can find us on www.grandpasecret.com. I think Grandpa's Secret, YouTube. And I urge a lot of people, to check out some of our videos. A lot of people, they talk about alchemy or whatever, but I leave the practical aspect of alchemy, and that is the difference. You can read all the theory, but when you cannot be able to understand the steps by step that is needed to be able to put it into practice, then it makes no sense. And so what I do is, or whatever, I'm able to show people how to be able to put it in a literal form where people can literally see some of these miracles, what the world might call miracle today, right before their own eyes. I know sometimes a lot of people have heard and read things like that in a book, but I'm a living witness that these things or whatever they're possible. For man being able to hold the rein and play with wild animals and literally, defy a lot of laws of nature.
But now, let me ask you this. Say you eat a plant, right? Yes. And the frequency of that plant, can you as a person transform or use the frequency of that plant to do certain things, tap into it?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, yes. I mean, they say, there's a saying in the African proverb. They say when you eat an elephant, you become the elephant. And so if you know that you're more of a third to fourth to fifth dimensional being, you do not want to eat something that is more of a first or second dimensional being. These two entities or whatever have their dimensions they live in. One is lower and one is more higher. So if you're higher than something or whatever, you want to only eat stuff that is higher. You don't want to go beyond, on a lower level or whatever. So that's why it's very important, what we're eating, because everything is all frequency. When someone eats a cow that is killed, when the cow sees the butcher, the cow goes into a panic mode. And as it goes into a panic mode, it's dead. So it secretes fear hormone. And so this meat is cooked and it's eaten. And you see all these people out there having, like anxiety, depression, but no one is going to the common denominator. The Africans, they call it the etymology, the basic of the basic. They're not going to the roots. They're not going to the roots to understand how can this be happening or whatever. But that is man. He wants to be God.
Right.
And he wants to go against all universal principles, not knowing that the principles that sometimes he must live by. That is very, very important. And that is not, it's neither God punishing you. No, it's not. It's that you are saying, okay, as I do this, like if you read a lot of the secret ancient African books or whatever, and I just talked about this. I just had a speaking engagement this past weekend, and I talk about years ago, thousands of years ago, when animals could speak, and they called all the animals together. They told the animals to vote for the caretakers of them, and all the animals or whatever. I think God said, no, we're going to choose the lion. And all the animals went into a depression. They said, no, the lion is known to eat meat. He's going to eat us. And so all the animals that gather or whatever, they're like, no, we're going to counter vote. And so all the animals, they choose the human to caretake for them, to be the caretakers for them. And the reason why they choose the human is because the human beings will never eat them, never ate animals until now. But at the same time, the animals, they put some codes and rules in the book that any human being that eat me during their next life, I'm going to come back and eat them. The cow says, you cut my neck, you eat me, my next life, I'm going to come back and do the same thing to you. Every single animal took that vow and signed the signature.
Wow.
That's why if you look at some certain cultures or whatever, you're going to see why they're vegans, why they're vegetarians.
Right, I was about
right. It's because this knowledge or whatever has been passed down to them, understanding the consequence of eating that. So if you're eating cow, you're eating meat or whatever. I know it's hardcore. Most of the world, they're not ready. But we're seeing all the suffering that is happening in the world. And we're just like, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me. As long as we begin to kill the cows, there's going to be tsunamis. There's going to be a lot of all these things happening. Because we're designed to be compassionate beings, not to ever kill any one of this. I know that people that's going to be listening, they're going to be like, oh, that's a lie and that, and blah, 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 or whatever. But because, again, you know how human beings talk or whatever, they never understand anything at that etymology, the root of things. I'm African. I'm not from here. Okay, so I've not been brainwashed. I've not been genetically engineered.
You almost touched on something because we're talking about titles and as blacks in America, what should we call ourselves? And we're getting down to Moors because a lot of the blacks that came to this country were Moors, and we're trying to take back our identity. But that's another topic for another day. But I'm pretty sure you're aware of the Moors.
Of course, I'm a stick of knowledge. One thing I always tell a lot of our people is that you cannot be saying, "Oh, you're conscious, you're eating dead things." You cannot say you're conscious, you even own the TV. Those are things or whatever. Those are the two distractors. I tell people, read books or whatever. The wealth of the future is not the person with the most amount of money. It's the person with the most amount of knowledge.
Right.
The knowledge is hidden in the book. And that's why they said, hey, if you want to keep, the black man or the black people ignorant, put it in a book because they don't read. Because they're spending all their time being distracted. And, so they become powerless. Yeah, but I'm all about, empowering myself and empowering my family and empowering the people around me, because knowledge is wealth.
That's right. Well, the truth is the truth. You can't argue with the truth. It's just what it is. It might hurt. It might hurt. It might hurt feelings. It might get emotional. But at the end of the day, it is the truth. Dr. King, I thank you for being on the show. We're not finished. we'll do another one. I mean, I got to give people time to digest what you just said because it's so heavy and it takes a minute to go back and research and study, for a minute. Then we bring you back on, hit them with some more knowledge, and then they go back and they study, and slowly but surely people are coming along. And the Grandpa secrets, I can testify, the kidney, the fat flush, the superfood, it all works. The breath of life.
The reason it works is because it's a science in a bottle. It's a lost science. It's a science in a bottle or whatever. It has worked for everyone. That's why we have some medical doctors or whatever who literally does and carry the formula.
Right. Well, the truth is,
it's never been heard before. It's never been heard in history where medical doctors are literally like, hey, you know what? I think this is it. It's what.
That's right. Well, when we first was introduced to it, I must be honest, we were like, some herb pills or whatever. We was like, we heard it before. But over time, after taking it, it's like, damn, it does work. It was actually shocking. Because of the actual effect and the way your body feels and the energy you have, and you actually do lose weight. And it's like, come on, seriously, it actually works. We was kind of skeptic in the beginning, but hey, it is the truth. It's the truth. Yeah, man. Thank you for that. Until next time, Dr. Kang, you enjoy yourself, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We give thanks.
Yes, sir.